pride, passion, and pageantry of college football lives here. This is the Paul Finebaum Show, Hour 4 podcast.
This might be college football heaven.
The final hour has arrived, and who better to start it than Legend is next.
How you doing, brother? Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Man, Paul, I just had to say how impressed I am with Jay Broom from Auburn. You know, when I first seen him play as a freshman and sophomore, you know, I always thought he'd be a double-double guy. But, man, I never expected him to take his game to where he's taking it. He is an absolute beast and undoubtedly the front runner for Player of the Year and the National Player of the Year. You know, I just never thought he'd be that type of player. It's a real testament to what Bruce Pearl has done down there. But I tell you, the player that really makes Auburn go, in my opinion, and that's Big Caldwell next to him to me. I mean, that guy's got like a Rick Mahorn game going or something. He's a beast, too. Man, it's going to be a battle for the state of Alabama on Saturday. I can't wait. 2 days away. Who cares about the national championship? We talk about the state of Alabama championship for basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Epic. Gladiators in the ring. Don't get no better than this. Make you want to dance. Make you want to sing. Woo! This is what it's all about. Love it, baby. Love it. And Paul, I'd just like to thank Auburn. You know, they so kind to us sometimes. Deep down, they really love us, I think. But I really want to thank them for Aiden Holloway because, man, that dude been like Benny Johnson this year. Downtown Freddie Brown. Going old school on you right here, my friend Paul. Old school, downtown Freddie Brown. I bet you don't remember him with the Seattle Supersonics, do you? I bet you do remember him, don't you?
I do, vaguely.
Vaguely. You remember old Bingo Smith? Bingo
Smith. I remember Bingo.
Yeah, I remember Bingo, baby. Going back in the old school days. But, man, I'm so ready for it, man. I am so ready for it. So pumped for this game. I mean, I am so proud of this Alabama team. And I heard a guy talking in the first hour about Mark Sears. And, man, if Mark Sears takes his game to where he needs to go, we're cutting some nets this year. Hey, Paul, I heard everybody talking about this NIL. And, you know, I discovered something that kind of really changed my opinion on all of it. And what I discovered it accidentally watching a basketball game and hearing an announcer talk about they had got this guy through an agent. And I found out all these guys already have money counselors. All these guys got agents, just like pro players. You don't contact Caleb Down, you contact his agent. If you try to get a player at Alabama, you don't contact that player, you contact his agent. This is like semi-pro league. This ain't like the players doing their own business stuff. You got Jerry Maguire's popping up everywhere, man. This is like a semi-pro thing going now. They got representation across the board. They already got folks advising them on money and everything else. So, man, we should get into Jerry Maguire business, brother. Me and you call it Black Cat Incorporated or something. Get it on the Jerry Maguire.
I've been looking for a new gig lately. Let me know.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty good deal, me and you as a couple sports agents. I bet we could pull a couple players, man. I bet we could pull a couple players, I guarantee you that. But, hey, man, I just wanted to stop by the house today, say hello. I'm feeling a little
Legend,
better, getting stronger every day.
You sound great.
Yeah, my hearing is about 30%. I can hear you, but you know, everybody I talk to sounds like a cartoon character. Everybody I talk to.
Hey, actually, your hearing may be better than mine.
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to wish that upon you, but Black Hat brother, man, I love you so much. But, man, let me say a couple of things about a couple callers. I heard Chris the other day talking trash, talking about the Pony Leaguers are here to stay, and talking about, all the old callers are in nursing homes. Let me tell you something, Mr. Kool-Aid. You need to watch yourself and make sure the demons don't pop out of me and catch up with you, brother. You need to keep your mouth shut and respect who helped build the dynasty, brother. You need to shut your mouth and sit down. You a rookie in this locker room. You got no credentials. You got no street creds. You got absolutely nothing, Mr. Kool-Aid. So sit your ass down and shut up. Now, as far as Bass, I had to give Bass credit. Any man that would cut his hair to look like Paul Finebaum is one hell of a man. That's one hell of a man right there, brother. I had to give him credit because I love Paul Finebaum. I love it. Love it. Hell no, I'm not cutting my hair to look like Paul. I mean, you don't even want that haircut, do you, Paul? You don't even want that haircut,
I've been trying to get rid of it for 30 years.
But it's, ladies and gentlemen, before I go, listen to me close. Bigger than the national championship. This is a state championship. Two gladiators. Historic SEC basketball history going down this weekend. Get ready to rumble, Auburn, because on Monday morning, there'll be a new number one. Legend has left the building.
Ooh. Let's check out Brad right now in the Zoom. What's up? What's up, champ?
Champ. Well, you claim me the champ, but going by X, I'm not the champ.
Hey,
for sure.
Listen, personal experience. Don't believe a word you read on that stuff.
You got that right. But Paul, I just want to thank you for letting me and Ari do that on your platform. And I just want to thank all the people who either through your show or called me or on X who had my back. And there's a lot of people who had my back on it. I really, I just want to come on and tell them I really appreciate that. And, when your advisor tells you to drop napalm, you drop napalm, and I can't believe the guy thought we were going to have tea and shortbread cookies through this debate.
Yeah, my only regret was that you didn't go below the belt even more, because the arrogance of that guy, the condescension, looking down at you like you were just some trash on the sidewalk, because you call in a talk show. That's what bugs me about the Ari Wassermans of the world.
Wasserman pissed me off when he treated me like a chihuahua that latched on to his leg, but he couldn't shake me off. Once I get into it, I'm not letting go.
He thought it was just he's going to flick you away like a speck of dandruff. And the boys in the back room may have scored it, but that guy he's got teeth marks all over his ankles.
Well, I think Andy reached out to me after everything. I guess we're gonna tee it up again.
Well, do it. Listen, I won't tell you what to do, but I wouldn't go on that show.
Well, we found out two things about Ari Wasserman, and one thing we found out was, you don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
No,
you don't. And the next thing is, if he's gonna sit there and say he don't have a bias for the Big Ten, if he don't sit there and he's into the Big Ten and he loves it, he's being asinine about it, because he's all in. He worked up there, he loves it, and he does have a red mustache, and he needs to wash it because he did drink too much of the Kool-Aid. And I came up with that, but I thought that was kind of neat, kind of funny to get him on that, because he drinks the Kool-Aid.
Listen, I tell you what I'm going to do. I am. Whose name's on this show? I am going to declare his victory null and void.
That's what I'm talking about.
I am declaring it right this second. It's null. I'm overruling it. I know we've got a lot of that going on right now, but I sat back and let that control room run this show yesterday, and that's wrong. Brad from Macon won the battle with Ari Wasserman.
Well, thanks, brother. You're a good black hat brother.
I'd like to see some evidence of it on this show, wouldn't you, Randy? I mean, you are the winner. He did not win.
Well, brother, I appreciate you.
All the tickets who collected on Ari Wasserman, you might want to bring that money back.
Well, Paul, you take care, brother. It's good to speak with you.
Okay. I feel like I've been hung out to dry by the back room fellas. Okay, one more call here before we take a break. And this is going to be good. I feel it right here. Hey, John.
This comment is not about you, Paul, or the show, or the content of the show, or anything with your executive producers that you alluded to today earlier that I've always referred to. But this comment is towards this last loser that you continue to have on your show. And, he's talking about napalm. He needs to drink the napalm and see how he feels in the morning. And anybody who thinks that this individual can give any opinions about anything related to the dialogue that he carried on yesterday with, was it Ari Wasserman Schultz? What was the young man's name yesterday?
I think you're thinking of the former Congresswoman.
Well, whoever his name was, who, by the way, is an excellent reporter and broadcaster, Ari is.
No, he's not.
But I can tell you right now that, Brad, you are an absolute embarrassment to the show. You had no business calling this show. You need to get a haircut. You need to wear a face mask. You need to drink coffee and napalm so you can start talking intelligently to the SEC community. So until you do that, you're an absolute joke. Goodbye, Paul, and good luck.
Thank you, John. We'll take a short break. We still have plenty of time if you would like to participate. Coming back after this.
You're listening to the Paul Finebaum Show podcast.
Back, and Squirrel is up next. Hey, Squirrel.
Thank you for taking my call. And I thought Brad did a great job yesterday. I was one of his advisors, and he'll tell you my advice was simple. I said, start off nuclear and throw flames until the very end. And if you'll notice, I think he took my advice. He started off pretty hot.
He was
and
hot.
You were like, whoa, slow down. Introduce yourself. And I think you changed the tone right then. You took it from like a phone feud to like a debate. And hey, I got to call it like balls and strikes. I think that was a mistake.
Well,
you should have just let Brad go.
I was trying to be
a
fair arbiter.
Yeah, you were, but like I said, Brad had the right. I mean, he was on a roll. You should have.
Okay. Well, and by the way, if you're watching right now, what I said and what Randy backed me up on is now the law of the land. Breaking news: my decision I have overturned the Brad versus Wasserman. So Ari Wasserman went home a loser.
That's good. Well, I'd already.
I like having that power, by the way.
And
I'm firing the entire control room for going against our wishes.
I was wanting I miss the old phoner feuds. I mean, you hadn't had any good phoner feuds. The last good phoner feud you had was me and Legend a couple years ago. Back
I didn't
when we
remember
were
that.
Opposite side of the fence.
Okay.
And Legend will tell you, I had him back on his heels. I ain't saying I was the winner. I ain't saying he was the winner, but he was definitely back on his heels.
No, you.
And
what was your, so other than the one you were involved with, I'm trying to remember some of the really epic ones. Really, most of them.
Most of them involved Jim.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jim versus I-Man were some good ones.
Yeah.
Jim versus. Jim. There's been a half dozen or more great Jim ones versus various people, and you need to do whatever you can do to get back on that dude's good graces.
No, he quit the show. He's not coming back.
You need to start defending him more. I mean, I don't know. You defend everybody but Jim, and Jim points that out to you, and you continue to ignore.
I'm starting to get rather fed up with this call, Squirrel.
He's telling you what the issue is and you ignoring him. So I don't know. And I was going to let you know one more thing, and I'll jump off. I'm heading up to St. Louis next month. I go every year in mid-March. If anybody is interested in Indian artifacts like I am,
Okay.
I've collected all my life. There's the Super Bowl of Arrowhead shows is in Collinsville, Illinois. You can see the arches from St. Louis. And you want me to check out John while I'm up there and just give you the real scoop
I wish
on
you
this
would,
dude
yes.
after I go? I'm gonna look that dude up next. It's middle of next month, and I'm gonna look John up, and I'm gonna report if he's not in jail. And I'm just gonna check this. I'm gonna buy him lunch or buy him dinner or something like that, and I'll get back with you on the real scoop on this cat.
Thank you, Squirrel.
But, thanks for taking my call. Appreciate it.
Let's head to the Zoom right now, and Bash is up next.
What's up, Bash Brother Paul?
Bash.
Randy, back in the studio again. I love it. Man, it's been a better show today, Paul. I cannot complain. I mean, you've had Janai Broom, who is the #1 player on the #1 team in the country right now, which is a fact. It could be debated, but let alone, I mean, the argument is set, but I can't disagree with what the college basketball committee made. But before I get to that, Paul, I want to address a couple callers that put my name in their mouth a little recently. First, got to bring up Big Pile, looking good, sounding good, old Cat Daddy. Cat Daddy had to call me, Randy, you believe he called me a drunkard because I'm drinking good bourbon? And this dude is the one who's drinking too much Palmetto moonshine, coming on the show today, Paul, wanting to talk to you about how many men are in women's prisons. Are you serious, Cat Daddy?
I was a little
do us
surprised by
all a
that
favor.
question from a man his age.
I bet you were. So do us all a favor, Cat Daddy. Sit your gamecock chicken ass down and keep my name out your mouth. Next one. Stacy, you had to... Paul, let me ask you a question. Are you like some gypsy voodoo mastermind, like puppet master? Like, did you make Stacy like say the words that came out of his mouth when he said live on this show, "Go Gamecocks"? Did you make him say that?
No, I mean
He's saying you're the
he
reason
he's a challenging caller.
Yeah, I bet he is. And he has the nerve to say he's a real Alabama fan. The fact that he has a great memory. Let's give him the facts for that he can recall things from the past from years ago. Great job, Stacy. But let alone, let's talk about today. And all you do is criticize everything Alabama does. And now you're hopping on the Gamecock bandwagon with Cat Daddy. So go over there and sit your ass down too. And lastly, Paul, Janai Broom, I have to admit, you on the show, you were very impressive, but let me clear the record. After this Saturday, I know you're going to have a great NBA career. I hope, Janai, you get drafted by the Utah Jazz so that way you can join your Auburn teammate Walker Kessler and have his girlfriend Miss Alabama with you and watch your team get your ass whooped by the real best team in the world, the Denver Nuggets. Just like this weekend, you're going to get your ass whooped by the real best team in college basketball. The Alabama Crimson Tide are going to roll your ass over, and the same thing's going to happen when you join the league. Thank you, Paul, for always taking my call. And let's go Crimson Tide, and we will see you on Saturday. I cannot wait.
Thank you, Matt. By the way, Walker Kessler was dating Miss Alabama. She is now Miss America. Cat Daddy would like a response. Cat?
Well, Big Paul, all I can say is every day, and I've been in the liquor business for 38 years, and I'm going to tell you, I've seen Bash 1,000 times a day. They walk in the store and they spout this stuff. But I'm just going to tell him, son, I know your mom and daddy must be proud of you. But anyway, God bless America. Everybody have a great night.
Thanks,
Bash,
Cat.
even you.
AC is up next.
Thank you so much for taking my call. My goodness, when you had John in St. Louis, I never got to address a psychiatric medication that he needs. My medication failed. So, John, how many times do you have to quit the show? Do you have the medication for it? As far as You got this little bash. Let me tell you something, little bash. Nobody has time for your recap of the show. This is why there's a podcast to listen back to. I mean, at the end of the day, Bash, didn't Alabama lose to Michigan back-to-back? Yes, they did. Holla.
Why don't we take a short break? We're 30 minutes away from the end of this program. Hallelujah. We're back.
You're listening to the Paul Finebaum Show podcast.
And we are back, and Tanner is up next in Tuscaloosa. Hello, Tanner.
Hey, Mr. Paul. Well, outside of AC and John's call, you've had a great show today.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Well, I've gone back and I've listened to the debate probably 3 or 4 times now, and I think Ari was probably a little more articulate, but he didn't have the passion. He had been drinking the Kool-Aid, and I'd like to bring some points that I don't know that have been said yet. He kept asking the wrong questions. He said, "Who would you put in the play? Who should the committee have put in the playoffs, or what should the committee have done different?" That's not the problem. The problem isn't this one year. The problem is the committee itself. Now, Paul, if I was to create a committee on military strategy, I'd probably have generals on the committee. Now, if I'm going to have a committee that puts together the college football playoff system, I'm going to have Bill Clark, Urban Meyer, Nick Saban. I'm going to have former coaches. You can get a good look at a T-bone steak by sticking your head up a bull's ass, or you can just take the butcher at his word. Why would you not get the most expertise people in the field? It baffles me. And the other thing is the fallacy that there's a Power 5. Now it's a Power 4. There are no equal conferences. There is the SEC and then the Big Ten, and they have 3 teams. They have 3 teams that are top tier. You go down a peg, you have Penn State. You go down another peg, you have USC. It's just like Janai Broom said, the same applies to football. Every time you step on the field, every time you step on the court, you're playing a tournament caliber team. So 3 losses in the SEC could get you an undefeated season elsewhere. So it's not apples and apples. And the fact that Ari wants to pretend it is, that's what baffles me. Like, does he think we're not smart enough to recognize that the SEC has won as many championships as it has, or we do put the most players in the NFL? I mean, it's like I said, Paul, it's just not apples and apples, and it's frustrating that members of the media.
He basically, by the way, he's not alone. He's like a lot of people that I know and work with. They don't believe the fans have any idea because they're not accredited journalists, and that's what I got out of the conversation. It was a lot of haughtiness and just really turning his nose because this guy's wearing a Georgia cap and loves college football. He doesn't realize that guy that he was debating pays his salary.
Well, not only that, Paul, it's just, there's so many different things that tell you the SEC is a notch above the rest.
Well, no, I understand that, but really the whole conversation was he blew up. He tried to criticize me because I made a flippant comment at halftime of a football game. That's how, I mean, his whole argument is incredibly flawed, but I'll leave it to him. Hey, thanks for the call. Stacy is up next.
Well, it seems like Bash is drinking, and he's drinking the Kool-Aid that you made, Paul Finebaum.
Correction, Stacy. What Bash is doing is not drinking.
All I ever done was take up for you, Paul Finebaum. Every time people call on here and they get on to you, Paul Finebaum, I took up for you. But I ain't taking up for you no longer. Because, see, Bash, your little kickstand, he gonna talk and say whatever he got to say to make Paul Finebaum happy. But you say, I'm a challenging caller. Let me tell you how to handle a challenging caller.
You know when you're challenging, Stacey, when you talk about Alabama, it's believable. Then you go off into the deep blue waters of South Carolina and all this other stuff, and we lose you.
Paul Finebaum. All I ever said was that I was a diehard fan of Don Staley. That's all I said.
Okay.
I don't root for South Carolina. I don't root for South Carolina football, basketball,
I know all
basketball,
that,
none of
Stacey.
that.
So you're
You're
done with
So
me? Is
you-
that correct?
I can't hear you. Say that again.
You're finished with me? Is that what you're telling me?
I ain't finished with you, but I ain't taking up for you no more.
Okay.
I ain't taking up for you no more. I'm gonna let the dogs come and get you, Paul Finebaum.
Oh my goodness.
Because see, you started all this nonsense, Paul. You started the nonsense. But look, I sent some pictures to the show. I sent some pictures. I tell you what, all I ask you to do is look at your email and put them pictures up on the screen like I asked you to.
Okay.
Do that for me, Paul Finebaum.
Well,
and
I
then
will
me
make
and you
sure
can
that
try to talk about
we put those pictures up.
and you and I can talk about mending our relationship again. How about that?
Okay.
Start right there, Paul Finebaum. Prove to me that you can be faithful, Paul Finebaum.
Hey, do we have
Can you
his,
do that?
pictures, guys? The control room says we've never received your pictures.
I sent them to the email.
The one on the screen?
I sent them to I can't. Well, I'm gonna send them to you again. How about that?
How about that?
And I asked you to put them up tomorrow.
We
Can
will
you do that for me?
Stacey, if we get them, they will be up. Thanks for the call. Post them on social media. We'll grab them there. That would be easier. Chris is up next in South Carolina.
Man, Paul, I got a lot to go over today since you had me on hold so damn long. But Stacey, sit your sucker ass down. But listen, Paul, legend out of his cotton picking mind and squirrel the attention hog. If they think that we gonna come in here and kiss their boots or kiss their rings, Paul, I'm tired of them. And that's the thing about it, you calling yourself a legend. You ain't no damn legend. You a hypocrite wishing your demons on me. You a hypocrite. You just like Jim, legend. You sit there and want to say that. I would never expect that to come out your mouth. And you supposed to call your name a legend. A legend is built on something when you're gone that it'll carry away. And the people that's going to carry the baton for you, legend, all you want to do is pick fights, and you want to sit there and tear them down every time they try to do something. You're jealous of them. You ain't squirrel. So I'm sick and two of y'all two stepdaughters. I'm telling you, Paul. And then you got Bash that can't, every time he gets serious, he closes his eyes on the Zoom. Open your Bash up, eyes. Open your eyes
but
up.
Chris, you
when you talk
understand
to
why
a man.
his eyes are closed, don't you?
Man, y'all understand, Paul, but no, I'm going to get to
That's
it in a
what I'm
minute,
trying to
Paul.
tell Stacey.
And
He's not drinking, he's puffing.
Man, you got all these guys, Paul, before me.
My eyes
And you
closing right now.
come on, Paul. Paul, you got me hot today. And I'm telling you, legend, you should never like Jim. Squirrel, you can't even tell Brad that you did a good damn job. You got to say the only reason you did a job is because I told you what to do. And you want to be considered something great or something? Man, you ain't nothing but a handicap, want to ride on a crutcher. That's all you want to do. You got to let Paul help make your calls and everything. You got me hot today. Have a great day, Paul.
The last two callers were hot. AJ is up next.
Get them, Chris. Get them. Tell them the truth.
John
Johnson
says,
jacket
I am
crew.
not okay.
But I will have to say this, Paul. You know, Stacey has no room. He cut his legs out. He might as well go on back and get in his wheelchair. We heard him all say on national television that he said Gamecock pride. He said Roll Tide and Gamecock pride. So, Stacey, you incriminated yourself. So everything that you get, boy, with a girl name, just sit down like a man and take it. I mean, what's next, Stacey? You going to go get you a fingernail deal too, NIL deal? Paint them up. I'll be looking for you on X. I'm pretty sure. Then you got this, Paul, this prehistoric imbecile from Missouri, John, can't even, he quit yesterday and he's back today. I mean, he needs to be in the same mental institution that Jim is, and they'll have 3 arms together and one set of false teeth, and then they can have a happily ever after life. But all these, I'm going to tell you about all these Alabama fans, Paul. Illegal procedure. We got Tony on Auburn basketball. Because if y'all think that we ain't fixing to come down in there with our dirty feet, walk in your new house in that new carpet and smear mud all over it this Saturday in that arena, that Bryant-Denny Stadium, no, it's Coleman Coliseum. Coleman, old man. That's all. It's over with, Paul. I mean, they might as well. They ain't gonna be no number one swap over by this Tuesday. You can take that to the night deposit. And AC, you're a pathetic, worthless waste of oxygen. You need to quit hopping in here, and there, then be a full-time caller. If you're gonna call, be a caller. Don't sit here and call every now and then. You ain't nothing but a weak scumbag, and you need to go crawl back up in your hole. War down, Eagle.
Well, those are 3 crazy calls. We'll take a short break. We still have time left in case you were thinking about turning the channel. Back after.
You're listening to the Paul Finebaum Show podcast.
This game, Florida goes to South Carolina. They're down to number 4 after that loss the other day, but always must-see TV. The Gamecocks straight ahead. And tomorrow we continue to preview the game of the millennium. Nate Oates joins us from Tuscaloosa. Today we talked to Auburn's best player. We'll talk to Nate Oates tomorrow afternoon. And from X, somebody help the Finebaum callers. They're going through it today. Then again, what's new? Tyler Rayleigh, a comedian there. Let's head to the Zoom, and we check in with Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, Paul. How are you?
We're doing great.
Thank you for taking my Zoom call. And, I had so much fun yesterday, but I have to say that this is also a classroom for me. And just like always back in school, I stand corrected. I was wrong again. Sometimes I get names and dates wrong, and Vance was correct with the my 1984 memory of the time for when I, in my mind, was the playoffs beginning. It was just the beginning of something's got to be done about these teams that really aren't deserving to be even considered for the national title. So I just wanted to get that matter straightened out. Yeah, when you spend that much time in the football desert like I did with Michigan, you can understand why my mind and my memory might be a little clouded.
I make mistakes every 5 seconds on this show, so it's all good. Jeff, thank you very much. Great to check in with you. Let's check in with somebody who never makes a mistake. John in St. Louis.
Paul, I have a trivia question for you before you sign off here tonight, just real quick here. Do you remember who you used to watch Rowan Martin's Laugh, and who was the character? Who was the character and the persona of Here Come the Judge?
Oh, Here Come the Judge. Was that Flip Wilson?
Yes, Flip Wilson. Where was Flip Wilson? This is the SEC connection, Bob, or not Bob. Paul, where was Flip Wilson born, and what team did he support?
Now, I remembered it was Flip, and he was funny. I do not know the second part of that question.
Well, I asked you, where was Flip Wilson born, and what team did he support?
Randy says he was born in Missouri.
Flip Wilson was an Alabama guy.
Really? Never knew.
And he grew up in, is there a Dothan?
Dothan is, that's the Wiregrass, down in the southeastern part of the state.
He grew up there. He was a stand-up comedian is a teenager and migrated up to Chicago area.
Now, I have to ask you this question here. Where do you get this information?
Paul, I'm very knowledgeable.
Because you told us something a couple of weeks ago about a guy who was born somewhere, and we checked, and you told us that Ted Koppel went to Missouri, and he didn't.
Yes, he did, Paul. I met and visited with Ted Koppel.
Do you happen to know where Flip Wilson was born, Randy? Jersey City, New Jersey, which is right across the river from...
No,
west side of Manhattan. John, I mean, I hate to call you on it, but you're really struggling to get things correct.
Well, Paul, that's what the show is all about.
Being wrong?
Your show does not tell a lot of truths, Paul. You like to make up stories, okay?
No, I really don't. I try to be a truth teller, but you're the one who literally just came up with stuff that I don't. I mean, the most interesting part of this is I don't even know where you come up with. By the way, I'm looking at the New Jersey Hall of Fame. Who do you think's a member? Flip Wilson.
That's because Flip Wilson moved up to New Jersey.
No, he didn't move up there. He was born in New Jersey.
No, he wasn't.
Jersey City is right near Hoboken, and you know who's from Hoboken. I know. Chairman of the board. Another Missouri graduate.
No, I know who's born in Hoboken.
Yeah.
It was Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal was probably born in Alabama, for all we know.
Over and out.
Just young children out there watching, just be assured of one thing. Whatever John says, it is not true. Oh, I can't wait for this call. Cheerleader is up next.
Paul, what a show. My goodness, everybody's been chewing on everybody. And I just want to give a shout out to Charles from Reeltown and say, Charles, we need you back. We need you to give some country boy A-whippings to lots of these callers.
We really do.
And listen, how can John get on and just say a bunch of BS about what's true and it isn't? And he's taking up my time by telling you something that's wrong.
I mean, I don't really understand what the deal is with him. And by the way, Billy Crystal was born in New York City, not in Hoboken. John just struck out.